Good evening, goeiemorgen, and welcome to our daily devotional reading. If you have a womb, then sink into your womb. If you don't, then the heart is low enough. Without a woman, I'm afraid that is the lowest you can go, the deepest you can go. Well, maybe do your dantian. Let yourself become quiet. Still. Not only in your mind, but in your body. Despite the noises from outside. And let's listen to Plato. We're beginning with the Statesman today. Socrates, the Socrates whom we all know and love. Well, with whom all of us at least have a complicated relationship. Socrates. I owe you many thanks indeed, Theodorus, for the acquaintance both of Theaetetus and the stranger. Theodorus, the friend of Socrates, of equal age, the geometer. And in a little while, Socrates, you will owe me 3 times as many, when they have completed for you the delineation of the statesman and the philosopher, as well as of the sophist. Socrates, sophist, statesman, philosopher. Oh, my dear Theodorus, do my ears truly witness that this is the estimate formed of them by the great calculator and geometrician? Theodorus, what do you mean, Socrates? Socrates, I mean that you rate them all at the same value, whereas they are really separate by an interval, which no geometrical ratio can express. Theodorus, by Ammon, the god of Cyrene. Socrates, that is a very fair hit. It shows that you have not forgotten your geometry. I will retaliate on you at some other time, but I must now ask the stranger, who will not, I hope, tire of his goodness to us, to proceed either with the statesman or with the philosopher, whichever he prefers. Stranger, that is my duty, Theodorus. Having begun, I must go on, and not leave the work unfinished. But what shall be done with Theaetetus? Theodorus, in what respect? Stranger, the Eleatic stranger, remember, from the school of Parmenides, and the famous, infamous Zeno. Stranger, shall we relieve him or take his companion, the young Socrates, instead of him? What do you advise? Theodorus, yes, give the other a turn if you propose. The young always do better when they have intervals of rest. Socrates, the old Socrates. I think, stranger, that both of them may be said to be in some way related to me, for the one, as you affirm, has the cut of my ugly face, The other is called by my name. And we should always be on the lookout to recognize a kinsman by the style of his conversation. I myself was discoursing with Theaetetus yesterday, and I have just been listening to his answers. My namesake I have not yet examined, but I must. Another time will do for me. Today, let him answer to you. Stranger, very good. Young Socrates, do you hear what the elder Socrates is proposing? Young Socrates, I do. Stranger, and do you agree to his proposal? Young Socrates, certainly. Stranger, as you do not object, still less can I. After the Sophist, then, I think that the Statesman naturally follows next in the order of inquiry, and please to say whether he too should be ranked among those who have not science. Science, this translation said, knowledge. The other translation says, and indeed it is episteme. Young Socrates. Yes, stranger, then the sciences must be divided as before, or knowledge must be divided as before. Socrates, young Socrates, I dare say, stranger, but yet the division will not be the same. Young Socrates, how then? Stranger, they will be divided at some other point. Young Socrates, yes. Duh. Stranger, where shall we discover the path of the statesman? We must find and separate off and set our seal upon this, and we will set the mark of another class upon all diverging paths. Thus the soul will conceive of all kinds of knowledge under two classes. Young Socrates, well, to find the path is your business, stranger, and not mine. Stranger, yes, Socrates, but the discovery, when once made, must be yours as well as mine. Young Socrates, very good. Stranger, well, and are not arithmetic and certain other kindred arts merely abstract knowledge, wholly separated from action? Young Socrates, true. Stranger, but in the art of carpentry and all other handicrafts, the knowledge of the workman is merged in his work. He not only knows, but he also makes things which previously did not exist. Young Socrates, certainly. Stranger, then let us divide sciences or knowledge in general into those which are practical and those which are purely intellectual. The Greek being praktikos and gnostikos. Young Socrates, let us assume these two divisions of knowledge, which is one whole. Stranger, and as statesman, king, master, or householder, one and the same, and are statesman, king, master, or householder, one and the same, or is there a knowledge or art answering to each of these names? Or rather, allow me to put the matter in another way. Young Socrates, let me hear. If anyone who is in a private station has the skill to advise one of the public physicians, must not he also be called a physician? Yes. And if anyone who is in a private station is able to advise the ruler of a country, may not he be said to have the knowledge which the ruler himself ought to have? True. But surely the science of the true king is royal science? Yes. And will not he possess this knowledge whether he happens to be a ruler or a private man, when regarded only in reference to his art, be truly called royal? He certainly ought to be. And the householder and master are the same. Of course. Again, a large household may be compared to a small state. Will they differ at all as far as government is concerned? They will not. Then, returning to the point which we were just now discussing, do we not clearly see that there is one science of all of them, and this science may be called either royal or political or economical? We will not quarrel with any one about the name. Certainly not. This too is evident, that the king cannot do much with his hands, or with his whole body towards the maintenance of his empire, compared with what he does by the intelligence and strength of his mind. Clearly not. Then shall we say that the king has a greater affinity to knowledge than to manual arts, and to practical life in general? Certainly he has. Then we may put all together as one and the same, statesmanship and the statesman, the kingly science and the king. Clearly. Thus far our scripture of the evening. I wrote down a quote at the beginning. We should always be on the lookout to discover a kinsman by the style of his conversation. Birds of a feather. As you age, I imagine it becomes easier. Well, I can't remember how it was when I was young. That's why I say I imagine. Though maybe I'm mistaken, because I still have friends from long ago. To discern your people. We are fortunate indeed when we have found our people. I hope that you do find your people, and I hope you never take them for granted. There's a lot of conflicting ideas in my head, and conflicting and entangled ideas in my head. So I think I'm just going to say what I was thinking before recording. I was thinking of Christopher Hitchens, and maybe I'm saying his name incorrectly. Ugh, throwing an Afrikaans word there. I woke up last night, shortly after midnight, with higher love in my, like as a background, by the dream that woke me, which was quite intense, and had a physical reaction on me. And so I was looking at a couple of videos of Christopher Hitchens today. And so I am quite desiring of a new atheist, whatever that might mean. And maybe it will pass. Maybe it's just today because of the dream. But why it's intermingled with this birds of a feather thing? I find someone like Christopher Hitchens incredibly attractive. Sometimes it's the opposites that, well, opposites attract, I know, but also I love being woo, but I'm quite unattracted. All my female friends are a bit woo as well. That I am attracted to, but I don't know. I think society, let's say it like that. I think society needs the two. They need the woo, and they need the critical thinker. And maybe it's just because I feel like if there's someone out there that I can relate to in a way, that takes on the role of the critical thinker, I can really fall into the woo. But maybe that's not very wise. I don't know. When you have the know-how, you are it, is basically what he's saying in this passage. If you have the gnosis of the king, you are a king. It also jumped out at me the fact that if you can rule a household, you can rule a state. And it's of the same nature. How the nobility of it. And most households I know is ruled by the woman. That's all I wrote down. I've changed the name again. So some meta talk about this series. I will probably reflect on it a lot because I am learning and growing and changing with every book that I read. And this one is the latest. Salt in my wounds, spirit on my flames. And it reminded me, although I'm really barely at the beginning, of the fact that I was first and foremost initiated as essentialist. I don't think that's the way the word is used in philosophy. Sensualist. And so I should come back to that. And so I changed it not to in search of truth or the true, but of tasting the true. And tasting, the etymology is quite interesting. It has something of touch in it. So, and the true, I was thinking about this today, the true is most definitely, it's only all these theories of truth, at least as far as I got, the whole correspondence theory, the coherence theory. It relates to truth and language. And indeed, truth, the real, simply is experience. Just as we will not say beauty needs to be put into language for us to make it intelligible, or the good. We know it. We know beauty. We know the goodness. And truth is the same, actually. We can taste it. We can touch it, even when we cannot name it. And taste is that additional to just touching with the hands. It's that the most sensitive part of, and it is related to the tongue, which speaking, so truth maybe naturally has something, it's more akin to language than the others. Beauty, of course, very much in the eye, although in the ear as well. Goodness. Well, I was thinking of names and beholding beauty, of course. And then, because I was trying to be essentialist and a little bit too wrong. So groping the good came to mind. But it's also searching in the dark, like by touch, for what you can't see. And so I'm doing my own versions of the primacy of, the centrality of, and it will be the primacy of the sensual, the centrality of wisdom. And I do not know the third yet, because I have only had 2 initiations. Well, 2 big ones. Well, 2 leveling up ones. So that a meta perspective on the series. I do notice that there was a lot of tension in my body tonight. I was sitting like this the whole time. I hope it doesn't come across and influence you negatively. I hope you have a good night's rest. Or hoop, dis 'n mooi dag vandag. And may the spirit of Sophia be with you.